second time.
Yes.
I saw the Telluride. It was a sneak.
Yes.
It was a surprise screening. And it was fun seeing it here. You started at age 11, loving
For this, yeah.
Frankenstein, right, from the book. The very
Yeah,
shallow
7
book.
when I saw the movie, yeah, 11 when I read the book.
So over the years, this must have been festering in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
And you have different versions of it, and different ways that you wanted to tell it. What took so long?
Well, first of all, I am very happy it took so long. Because when I saw it, I said, that's me, the monster, the creature. When I saw Boris Karloff, then I read the book and I said, that's me. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. The lack of answers. I was raised very Catholic, but I lapsed, fortunately. And I started to ask questions about the Father and the Son, God sending Jesus to be crucified, which is the bad daddy story of all times. But I also found in the book and later in Mary Shelley's biography itself a lot of questions about fatherhood, about this idea of fusing death and life into one. I mean, her mother died 11 days after she was born. Her first child died 11 days after she gave birth. She put it on the ground without a name. By the time she finished the book and published the book, I think she had lost 3 children. And eventually one survived and turned into be a very boring Englishman. But my mother also had miscarriages. One of them, the twin of one of my brothers. So I spent all my childhood whenever my mother was pregnant, I was very worried. And you can see it in all my movies, by the way, not just this one. But the more I read about Mary, and the more I read about the Romantics, and I made it a point to study them thoroughly, and study the book in all its, in the 3 editions.
They made different versions of it. She sort of tried to clean it up or something.
Well, yeah, the first one was done with Percy, and I have read the manuscript in a facsimile, and Percy's annotations are on the side along with hers, and they argue about adjectives and nouns and verbs, and it's the first edition, 1818. Second edition is actually edited by her with her father. Now, her relationship with her father is very, very tense, fraught with unresolved issues, because she basically was seen as partially being the cause of her mother's death. Her father taught her to read on the gravestone of her mother. That was her Sesame Street. And the second version is okay, but I like the crazy one, the 1818, which is very, very ungainly in a way. And then the third one is her censoring herself.
Yeah. So over the years, you kept thinking about it.
Yeah.
Universal wanted you to do it.
Well, we tried. We developed it in the early 2000s, about 20-something years ago. And I always said it's a father and son story. It's a he said, she said. It's a thing where you learn the tale in the middle. Originally, I thought it could be 2 movies released on the same weekend.
Wow.
And I thought about talking about my father and I. My father and I, in a Latin family, the father looms very large. It doesn't matter if you get along with or not, it's a shadow. And my dad was very warm with me, but also a mystery. He was, as is to many people, because at the end of the day, you discover he's a guy. He's not your dad. He's a guy that happens to be your dad. And I said, well, I'm not going to be the way my dad was. I'm going to be the best dad in the world. And then at age 40, you realize you are your dad. And you have done exactly the same thing.
All right, so let's talk about the central relationship between Frankenstein, Victor, and his creature, which is, of course, the center of the movie. Why does Victor not recognize that he's going to have to take care of this creature?
Oh my God, that's the question to every father, probably every father in the history of biological history of mankind. Because you don't need a license to be a father, you just need a little beer or two. It's the most ill-prepared job. If astronauts have the same qualifications as fathers, we will never go into the moon. It really is, for me, the parenting that Victor has. I mean, Victor is like every tyrant we know. He feels himself to be a victim. And he because he ate in childhood, he thinks everybody owes him something. And the cosmos owes him something. And most of the time, you can see the way he treats the bodies. You know, he's discarding them. You can see the way he uses his brother.
Or the way he drops Chris Waltz's body.
Yeah, no, he's completely you know, I don't. With this type of drive is unfortunately deadly certainty, which we see in some of the worst people in the world are very certain, and they believe themselves to be victims. Those are two combinations. It's a deadly combination, and when he parents, it's an accessory. He sees the creature as an accessory that makes him look good or makes him look bad, which is bad parenting, by the way. But also, what happens is there is frailty, and a certain type of personality which Victor has is completely irritated by frailty. There's a terrible story by the time George Stevens reached the concentration camp in World War II, where he said that he could not explain it, but he was angry at the victims. He didn't understand how they were so many, sometimes numbering their guards, and he got rage. And I think Victor is the type of personality that feels the moment the fuse is when he says, "Are you afraid of me? Why are you afraid of me? I created you. Why would I harm you?" But he's already yelling.
He's already hitting you.
He's already hitting. Yeah, not before.
Yeah,
Before he hits
exactly.
it. But if you notice, the cane he uses, the cane he uses is the same shape than the iron Victor uses. It's exactly the same repetition of what he learns. If you learn the north of love by a broken compass, you'll head in the wrong direction.
So,
That's the reality of life.
so one of the great changes you made here was to make the creature beautiful.
Yeah. Well, in the book, he makes it a point to say, "I selected these features for beauty," and then he recants and says, "Beauty, the tissue barely covered the muscles and the sinew, blah blah blah," and he finds it repugnant. But I think that in the book, the features were selected for beauty, and I think the beauty is in the innocence. What I tried to make him was to make him feel newly minted, like the essence of a human, because this guy has been wanting to do this for 20 years or more. Now, he builds it, and the sequence where he builds it is a joyous one. He's not building a station wagon, he's building a Lamborghini. So he's gonna make it so the patterns on the body follow the patterns of phrenology on the head, and anatomy, and you see why he needed to access the bones and all that, but it's the same that you follow the process through the half body, then the waxes in his anatomical studio, and then this. And I think that what the creature needs to feel is a blank. It's a blank, so that he can empty everything into him. The movie uses the mirror to indicate that they are one single entity. Before he has a creature, Victor is in the bathroom with reflections of himself. Once he has a creature, they are both in the mirror the whole time. When he talks to Elizabeth, he's alone again. When the creature comes back, he is together with the creature again. So the tragedy of a father and a son, or any parent and a child, is they need each other. They give each other meaning, but we don't understand it until sometimes it's too late. Unfortunately for some of us, we understand it earlier than that.
So in the course of putting this movie together, you finally do get it together at Netflix. You lost Andrew Garfield
Yeah.
very late in the day.
Yeah, we had the 2 strikes consecutive, and the days didn't match, and there was 9 weeks left before we started. And I've learned through 3 decades of film directing that when something happens, it's actually the movie telling you what it means. And you prep for 9 months obsessively, and then any accident that happens is telling you, oh, it's better if you do this other thing. And I said, don't worry, we're gonna get a miracle. And the miracle is Jacob Elordi.
And
Yeah.
you had to redo the whole thing.
Yeah, we have to redo the entire makeup.
Yeah.
But Mike Hill, who designed the creature, and I were both Frankenheads. And I said to Mike, you've been preparing all your life. I've been preparing all my life for this movie. It's gonna be okay. And he said, well, the time, I said, Jack Pierce showed up every morning with Kleenex, collodion, cotton, latex, and he made Boris from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
You have more time than that. So relax. And I think that everything in the movie, like I can quote you 20 incidents of things that went wrong, that went right. Like the difference of the eyes. Originally, I had the oversized iris for both eyes.
Oh.
First day, we put them on, and she's the contact lens technician says he's rejecting one. Can you digitally put it on, and then we'll try again tomorrow? I said no, he should have 2 different sizes, and one size is gonna kick back the light. That happened that morning.
Wow.
Victor, Oscar and I were in the construction of the creature when the lightning starts striking. We were saying, there's no ending for this shot, there's no ending for this shot. And a steam bulb explodes, and I go, there goes my Friday. And then I look at him and I go, that's the ending. Oh, that's the ending of that shot, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So talk about that. Talk about the water tower and how you assembled that. Put all those pieces together. It wasn't just a single place.
Before I start writing, I do many months of research. So I have a huge table in my library, and I bring the painters, Caspar David Friedrich, Henry Fuseli, Grimshaw, anybody that is from that period or is going to inspire me with paintings, and Piranesi and so forth, and research of geography, history, and whatever else. And I decided the time to set it was the 1850s for the Crimean War, where photography was now available. We are 7 years before the first fuel engine is available to the public, but people are experimenting, blah, blah, blah. And amongst all those things, I noticed that the perfect building for the lab was a water tower, because it's open, for the piping, and you have height for siphoning, you have chambers to keep the creature, which the cistern, and in the north of Africa, the south of Europe, the symbol of Medusa is used in the cisterns, in the water. So I said, perfect, I'll have a big Medusa and a big window, blah, blah, blah. And it's because the lab, there's nobody that says, build me a lab. You have to find a
You had to figure it out.
You have to figure it out. So many of those towers were public works, huge amounts of money, very ornate. And I said, that's it. And then we were scouting in Scotland, and Guy Davis, my right-hand concept designer, he saw the monument for William Wallace, for Braveheart. That tower is actually the monument for Braveheart. That's what he got for being quartered by the English. Tower, phallic building in the middle of Scotland. But it's a lot smaller, the one in Scotland. We went big.
But it's like 5 different sets though, right?
Oh yeah, everything is the cisterns, 2 of them, the staircase, the tower, and the top is another 2. And then you have to abandon, renovated, and dilapidated after the explosion. So everything you see in the movie is in the great majority real. The ship is full scale. The ship is full scale with motors. When Richard pushes it, it pushes the ship with all the sailors on top. There's not a single
You built
shot.
that in Toronto?
We built it in the parking lot of the studio.
You've been there before.
Oh yeah, I've been there for 15 years, and every shot of the ship is a real ship. And we put ice here and there, but even the ice, we created a method to create the ice, the layers of ice, which is we do a solid, a vacuum form, and a solid, and it looks like it's translucent. Tamara Devil, did that, and I wanted to build the whole set of the tower. The exterior is all built, 2 stories of it. I went to the north of Canada, we went to Scotland, we went to London. I didn't want to use volumetric screens and LED and all that shit. I wanted the movie to feel like an opera, and people to understand that hundreds of people worked for it. All the fabric that you see was loomed in our looms. We made it. We printed it, we aged it, we ombreed it, we tinted it. We didn't buy rolls of fabric, we made the fabric.
The costumes are extraordinary.
Yeah.
Really.
It is, and the thing that we do is all those departments are interactive. I say these are the legs of a table. You don't operate separate from cinematography. Cinematography doesn't operate separate from production design. Everything is together.
Absolutely. So now that you've actually made the movie, after all this time, after all this obsession, and was there an element in the delay of making the movie of fear, of not wanting to make it?
No.
You wanted to.
Yeah, but look.
Or maybe not wanting to do the studio version of it.
There's a joke, Billy Wilder, when he got his Oscar, made a joke. He said, a man goes to the doctor and says, doctor, I cannot pee. And he said, how old are you? 81. You peed enough. I peed enough. I mean, if it happens or doesn't happen, I've written 42 screenplays. I've done 13 movies. Some of them, like the fish, with the fisherman, the ones that got away are the best ones. Oh, if I only had done that. So, the philosophy for me is life resolves itself. And it's great that I made it. This is my Mount Everest for me. This is what I've been aiming for all my life, studied all my life. All my movies have subplots of Frankenstein, Blade 2, Kronos, Pinocchio. This is the one. So I'm very grateful I made it, but there's many lives, where you don't get to do it. And those are acceptable lives. Why not? I think the ego says, why not? No, why me? And the universe says, why not? We go, okay, well, why did it happen to me? Because it happens. You don't get to make everything, but I'm so grateful. Netflix, Ted Sarandos came to me and said, what's your bucket list? And I said, Pinocchio and Frankenstein. And I said, Cabinet of Curiosities. Why the fuck not? I wanted Mountains of Madness. There's still time.
Are you going to go, what kind of direction are you going to go in next, you think?
Well, when I had dinner with David Cronenberg when he turned 74, he said to me, Guillermo, you have to scare yourself into staying young. He said, do things that you have not done before. Try tools you haven't tried before. Don't do what you do, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm doing an adaptation of Kazuo Ishiguro's The Very Giant in stop motion.
Cool.
And it's going to be, we're going to try to push the acting of the stop motion puppets past where it is right now, through the craft. And it's not a kids movie. There's no fucking jokes, there's nothing cute, there's nothing friendly, it's like a beautiful fantasy drama that happens to be in stop motion because I want the humans and the characters, the fantastic characters to coexist in the same universe, not be a special effect. So we're gonna do that, and then I'm writing a thriller for Oscar Isaac called Fury.
Excellent.
I mean, I love Oscar. He's my brother.
So the other person that you work with a lot is Alexander.
Yes, yes.
I think this is his best. I'm sorry.
This is extraordinary as a score. And, you know, we tried to, I said to him, it's an opera. And he said, well, can I do a couple of solos and duets? And I said, absolutely. So he gave it the dimension it needed. The solo for the sun, which is one of the most beautiful pieces of composition he's ever done, is done by a soloist from Norway with a Stradivarius. And we said we should, and you could direct that instrument like you direct an actor. When they first see the sun, I said, that's longing. And she played it one way, and then at the end, she was playing the same way. I said, no, the last cue is acceptance. And she played it different, and it sounded different, and it had a different emotion. So, on the slam, what we do is we, you know, he plays me things, and he says, okay.
Where are you when he plays them?
Fortunately for me, Paris. It's not Eagle Rock. I gotta go to Paris. The greatest thing, which is, I mean, when I first started working in LA, I owed so much money from Kronos, and the best thing in the world, I was in the Universal Sheraton, and I could order room service burgers. The student will pay for my burgers, fools! Now the equivalent is, I gotta go to Paris to work with this class. So I go there, and the best part of working with this slot, he says, come early in the morning, 9, and in 2-3 hours, we're done. And I'm still in Paris. I'm in fucking heaven.
Congratulations.
Oh, what? It's over?
She's giving me the sign.
Let's go 10 minutes more. Well, through the years, when I was shooting Devil's Backbone, I wanted one move, and Navarro, my DP, he said, what you're thinking out is a techno, because I've never done commercials. I'm gonna do my first commercial in a couple of weeks, because I in every meeting I blow it up. I go, and they start saying, I go, you know, thank you, goodbye. But he said, you should practice with a techno, and then on Blade 2, I started practicing with the techno. And
tell everybody what it is.
The techno is, you know, it's a like telescopic crane, and you can undermount and overmount the crane, the camera, and if you make the sets accessible, you basically have the most amazing tool to move like a Steadicam almost, but it's so much more elegant. And every movie I practice more and more and more until it became my style, you know. And this is the last movie I shoot with a techno. I'm done, because this I practice all for Frankenstein. And now I'm gonna do, my idea for Fury is I'm gonna shoot it very different, completely different approach. I don't know, I'm scared.
That's good.
That's good.
What Cronenberg wants for you.
Well, that's it. No crane.
All right, now that we're doing this, I'm gonna have to haul my questions out.
No.
See, I did it all this time. Oh, so far. No questions.
I mean,
Let's see what we
I
forgot.
was watching Roofman. I stopped the goddamn movie on here.
Oh my God.
Well, that was so good. I'm worried about Channing Tatum. I don't know.
All right.
I wanted to end well.
So you put a romance in here. I didn't realize it until I watched it the second time, that there is a love thing going on between Mia Goth and Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mixture. I mean, Mia Goth, I wanted,
Elizabeth.
yeah, the triangle for me is part of what Victor hates about the creature. Because she's attracted to the purity, and Victor has anything but purity. You know, he has
She calls
drive.
him on it.
She calls him on it, and he doesn't understand. Why not me, right? Because that's the ego. of the guy. But what I wanted to do, which is in Shape of Water partially, but I don't think people fall in love because they have the same qualities or the same interests. It's because they have the same pain. That's what love is. You recognize the pain of the other as yours, and the alienness of the other as yours. And I think she describes herself like an insect. Says, beautiful creature, remote and beautiful, but also alien, because she doesn't belong to what people think she should be, which is many of us. And when she sees the creature, also she's coming from the convent, and there was a sequence I took out where she is praying in front of a life-size Jesus that was the same Jesus that was in my childhood, in my church. We photographed it, we reproduced it, and she touches the wound on the side, and to me, there's that. She sees something otherworldly that is alive. She saw the body in Victor's room. She knows what he wants to do, but this is something different. There's purity. There's an essence of alienness and innocence, and she studies insects. She says, I am interested in things that are beyond the vulgar, and he is that. So they instantly recognize their essence. And then for me, she sees a miracle in him, which is, I think, what love is a miracle. And as close as we can get, touching the divine, and it's real. People have a lot easier time believing in hatred, but I think love is real. I think it moves the world, and sometimes stops it. Like me with Chinese baby.
I'm gonna let you go back and watch your movie.
I'll tell you how it ends. Sometimes in Toys R Us with Peter Dinklage. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching it in the theater. The movie is gonna be in the theaters for a while. Tell your friends. Watch it on Netflix because they're there. But also watch it in the theater. Thank you.